Welcome to Breaking the Chains. I'm Bakita, and today I wanted to talk about the things that Black women from America can do to make their transition into Ghana a little easier and feel a little safer. For those who, many of us don't have any issues moving into Ghana and we adjust just fine, but for some, it's a little bit more difficult. So I want to give a few things that can help you to maybe adjust better in making this move into Ghana. It's a big deal. It's the culture shock is real. It's so many different things coming at you at one time that you may not be used to. If you're not well traveled, some of these things can feel awkward or weird or whatever the case may be. But you have to remember that you're coming from a Western culture into an African culture, and it is bound to be some shocking realizations that you have to make. But it doesn't mean that it's not possible. There are many of us who have made the transition, been living in Ghana 10, 20 years, and young women too. I know one young woman she's younger than me, and she's been there for 10 years consistently. She's had 2 babies there. Like, it's people who are doing just fine in Ghana. Women, Black women from America, doing just fine. But before I get into those things, I want to say thank you so much to the men who have been reaching out to me, who have been asking questions, wanting to get, looking for contact information for women and trying to get them assistance. For the men who I've connected with women in Ghana to help them to navigate the situation a little bit better. I want to thank you all so much for just taking the charge and being what we need you all to be in this situation. And this is men from all over who just really after seeing it and becoming aware of what some women are dealing with, they were wanting to really just stand up and be what was needed for the women who are making this transition. With that being said, I want to start with the first thing I need our women coming from America into Ghana to understand is that Ghana is a very, very conservative country. Very conservative. So you have to understand that certain things just ain't gonna go. Come and observe, and I would suggest don't move without being here unless you're a very adaptable person. And sometimes we think we're adaptable and we're not. But come and observe and see how things move. But understand that Ghana is a very conservative place, and people tend to be quite judgmental. So the way you dress, the way you wear your hair, like, it's getting better, but even still now, having locks is like looked at like, oh, this person has locks. It's getting better, but it's definitely still a thing where people having locks can have Ghanaian people feeling like, oh, you're a madman, or something is up with you. You do drugs, whatever the case may be. But you just have to know that. You have to know that, and you have to expect that. So the way you dress, the way you do everything, it can cause people to think some way about you, and they may not respect you if they think that you're some way. And I'll give you a good example. So when my husband first got here from Ghana, we went to Miami. We were on South Beach, and we were at, I won't call the bar's name, but we were at one of the bars on South Beach, and he was like, oh, wow, there's so many whores out here. I was like, whores? Why you call them whores? Like, you don't even know these people. And he was like, look at how they're dressed. And I'm like, oh. So what about the way they dress make you think that they're whores? Like, whores? And he went on to explain to me that, oh, well, in my country, when women dress like this, that means that they're a prostitute and whatever. I was like, oh, really? And he's like, well, and then we had ended up having a long, drawn out conversation about it. But it was very enlightening to hear him say that. And then when I went back to Ghana and I paid attention, it was like, oh, aha. So just know, Ghana is a very conservative country, and it's just some things you just gotta know that people are going to make assumptions about you because culturally that's how they feel about it. Right, wrong, or indifferent, that's how they feel. Secondly, before you go, you probably should build relationships on the ground. Try your best to build some relationships with diasporans and Ghanaians if you possibly can. Or at least have some diasporans who can maybe help you find a driver or help you find a trusted Ghanaian man that you can have with you who can help you to navigate things better. Most of the women that I know who have successfully been able to move about in Ghana have done so with the help of a male. Like even with my when I was having my baby in Ghana in 2016, my nephew was with my mother every single day, and my mother having him with her helped her. It really helped her in her navigating Ghana, and just having that male presence. There's a different way that you get looked at. That's just how it is. That doesn't mean that you have to have a man with you all the time, but it does make it easier. Or having a Ghanaian woman with you who understands foreigners and understands how the interactions between foreigners can get misinterpreted in Ghana. But learn as much as you can, build relationships with people on the ground. Third, try to learn some of the cultural norms outside of clothes and food and all of the surface stuff. You need to try to learn, and that goes back to knowing somebody on the ground. So if somebody on the ground would be able to help you understand certain things, like not using your left hand to hand stuff to people, because that will turn people completely off, and you won't even know what happened or why somebody is treating you a certain way. So it's certain things that you need to learn, cultural norms in the Ghanaian culture, that will help you to navigate the culture a little better and understanding things a little better. Thirdly, I want to say, understand that your response to a situation can be seen as disrespectful. So you have to kind of dial it back some. You know, I know you've probably heard people say this American attitude, you got to get rid of your American attitude or whatever. I don't subscribe to that, so to speak, but I do say you might want to dial it back some, because the way you respond to things can be a catalyst to things kind of getting out of hand, and you won't even realize why. Because culturally, here you may respond to something and it's not a big deal, but there it may be a big deal in the way that you responded. So, like for instance, Ghanaian people talk loud, period. But the men talk really loud, and then when things are getting a little, it's a little going a little left, they throw their hands and they talk real loud and do all of that. And in our culture, it's considered disrespectful, and it's and they may not necessarily be meaning no harm, but it makes you kind of like, hold on, player. You wanna be careful on how you respond, because remember, you're there by yourself. You're there by yourself, so you need to watch how you move. Ghana's small too, so you don't want to you just don't want to come off as something that you're probably not. And even though, you know, people have their moments, people have times where sometimes things are really frustrating. Sometimes you need to learn how to take a deep breath and get through the moment. Get through that moment. Because at the end of the day, what is it going to benefit you to get in an altercation with someone over something that if you maybe would have handled things different? Because we have to remember, you can't control how people react or respond to you. You can only control how you respond and how you react to people. So just knowing how to respond, but that also goes back to having somebody who can help you to navigate these types of situations. But there'll always be times where you'll be by yourself, and you may need to navigate a situation in a way. Just calm yourself down and get through that moment and learn from it. I think the most important thing that I want to say is you got to, I don't want you to feel like you have to walk around with your guard up and all of that stuff or whatever. But what I've noticed is that a lot of people, when they get to Africa, they tend to completely let their guard down. And it's so welcoming, and it's so people are so friendly and all of that stuff, and you tend to kind of just forget about the fact that safety needs to be a concern and things. People are gonna be nice and all of that stuff or whatever, but just like you would side eye somebody here and not give people all kind of opportunities and access to you here, you shouldn't do it there. You want to keep a safe guard up between you and other people, at least until you actually get to know people and see how they truly move. So, but then again, that goes back to having somebody on the ground that can help you to navigate situations, because at the end of the day, language is an issue. Even though we speak, the majority of us only speak English coming from here. Most of us don't speak Twi or Ga. And if you're in Accra, that's what you're going to hear mostly, either Twi or Ga. And the English there is, for one, I would say it's Ghanaian English, but it's based on British English. And if you don't know, there's a good bit of difference in the way British English is spoken and the way American English is spoken. So a lot of times when there are misunderstandings in Ghana, it's really just a misunderstanding. They might have misunderstood. You may have spoken in African American vernacular and they don't understand what you're talking about, and they're saying something in a more Ghanaian or Ghanaian British type of way, and you don't understand what they're saying, or the just the reaction to things may be different. We see things differently, so we have to take the time, because we decided to be the ones to make this move, even though we was invited. We decided that we would make this move, and in making this move, there are some things that you have to consider. You have to consider that regardless of the fact that you were invited, you feel like you belong here and all of this stuff, to a lot of people, you are considered a foreigner. To a lot of people, you are going to be considered an outsider. To a lot of people, you are just considered an American. We also have to remember that in Ghana, in Africa, for the most part, the concept of black is not necessarily that big of a deal because everybody's black. We're coming from a space where black and white is a big deal. You coming into a space where it's not. So people don't see things the same way that you see. We have completely different lenses that we look at the world through. So you can't expect people to see the world the way you do. Now, don't get me wrong. It's some Ghanaians that I know personally who completely get it. But there are a lot who don't. So because you decided that you wanted to live in Ghana, you have to make a concerted effort to dial some of it back. One more thing that I didn't think about until right now is you also want to get to know your people in your neighborhood. You want to get to know people around you. You want to join as many of these Facebook groups or whatever you can, WhatsApp groups as you can. Get to learn as much as you possibly can about living in Ghana and what other people's experiences have been, because it's going to be different for everybody. Your experience is not going to be the same as somebody else's experience, and it is important that you know that. But it's certain things that we all pretty much experience. You gotta know that the customer service is gonna be poor, and that's just part of it. You gotta know that there's sanitation issues, there's power issues, there's water issues. All of these things you probably already know, but knowing it and experiencing it is two totally different things. So I'm saying all of this to say that just prepare yourself to be flexible. You gotta know how to turn on a dime. You gotta be able to take a deep breath and adjust, because there are so many little things that will get on your nerves until you get used to it. So you'll go through the honeymoon phase of, oh my God, this is such a great experience. I feel so free, all of that stuff. You may go through a time where it's just like, oh my God, so many things get on my nerves. You start really seeing all of the flaws and all of the things, and it's just a lot. It's a lot to take in. But then you remember why you left where you left, and then it's like, okay. And then hopefully you settle in to, okay, this is my new life. This is what I chose to do, and this is what I'm going to do. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't work for you, you do not have to make it work. You can always go somewhere else. There are 53 other countries. You can try something else. There are other continents, other countries. Black folks are moving all over the place now. You got people moving into South America, Central America, Mexico. We're moving everywhere. So Ghana is a great place to be. I freaking love it. Most of the people that I know wouldn't trade it. But if it doesn't work for you, that's okay. But if you want to make it work for you, you got to hear what will work, what could help things work better. And then once you get in your stride, you'll be good. It won't be hard forever. It'll get easier with time. Some people say it took them 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years to really get settled in and adjusted to their new life, but they're there. They've adjusted well. I know some people, it only took them a few months and they were straight. It's all about your mindset. Where's your mind, and how do you want to make this thing happen? How do you want for this to work for you? With that being said, join some groups. You got the Repatriation to Africa group, African Americans moving to Ghana, African Americans leaving America, Blaxit. It's so many groups that you can join. And sometimes if you just go in those groups and just read through the post, go to some of the old posts, read through, you can start to kind of get an idea of what there is. If you, as a woman, I have a group, the Sister Repatriation group, the Sister Repatriation Community of Ghana on Facebook. You can join us. We got a lot of information there. Sisters are always willing to help. And that's it. I hope that this could help somebody. I have some brothers who I'll be chatting with soon on some different ways that we can help make things a little bit easier for us in this repatriation journey, how we can work together with Ghanaian diaspora, continental Ghanaians, African Americans, African Europeans, all of us. Like, I have several people, we're working on some things to try to make it better. So with that being said, I hope this helps someone. And until next time, this is Breaking the Chains. I am Bakita Muhammad, and see you next time.